you thought of anything yet?
I could tell you about Savanah. We actually did a ghost hunting tour there where we got to use like professional equipment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was fun.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know where we'd really go with it. That's the thing.
Yeah. Did you actually see some activity?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then there's different opinions about that too.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think that they're kind of, taking advantage because they're not crossing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking too when we signed up for this. I'm like, why are we capitalizing on spirits that can't cross over or haven't crossed over?
It's like beating a handicapped person or something.
It is. Like, I kind of wanted to go in there and like clear them all. Like, you guys can go now.
Right. That's why I remember I learned that from Celeste years ago because she used to be part of the ghost hunting thing. And then she was like, no, I'm not doing it anymore. This is not right.
Mm-hmm.
Taking advantage of somebody's pain. And interestingly enough, when I was going to have Gail tell you about it, but her father came through and died when she was 3. She's 70. But I was feeling like he was not crossed. He hung around here for 67 years.
Earthbound. Well, which is a blink of an eye.
I know, but still. Because I said, has he ever come through? Has he ever, apologized or anything like that? She's like, no. I said, usually that's the first thing I do with a parent, Because I know you're a human and you're going through it,
I had a reading where my grandfather came through, and the reader said that he was an earthbound spirit. But he wasn't, he was very supportive. He wasn't, it didn't sound, his message didn't sound like it was any different from any other message. Which brings me to another point too, because we're going to end up talking about this. So let's just go ahead and talk about it. This reader Brian that I saw, he was telling me. He said, we started talking about crossing over in death and what does it really look like? What does it mean? And he said, so during the reading, my dog that passed almost 2 years ago came in. His name was Klaus. And so how does this reader know this? And I was like, okay, my dog's here. What kind of dog is it? He's like, kind of reminds me of a German Shepherd, at least the pattern. And I was like, said, okay, is it a big dog, small dog? He said, it's a big dog. I said, Klaus was a Shepherdor, half lab, half shepherd. Had all the colorings of a German Shepherd, size of a German Shepherd, the teeth, the snout of a German Shepherd, but had kind of the head of a lab. And he was 100 pounds. He was big. And he's like, oh, he's sitting right there next to you. He stands up tall when he sits. I was like, yeah, that's him. That's him. So anyway.
That's good.
Yeah. But what he said was, and this was kind of interesting, he said, but he doesn't know that he's crossed. I'm like, well, that sucks. He goes, no. He believes that he went to sleep and woke up feeling great.
That's just people.
Huh.
Wow.
And this got us into this. He and I got into this conversation about this, and he said, what do you think happens when we pass? And I'm like, well, I guess the way that you're explaining it, it sounds like you and I talking to Brian. It sounds like you and I could be doing this exact same thing, sitting right here, except that there's no emotion attached to it. There's no emotion attached to it, and there's no time. I said that. That's what I. He said, "Yeah, you're right." Oh, interesting. We'll just wait for the phone to quit ringing.
Okay.
Or maybe that's my dog calling. Perfect timing, Klaus. Thank you.
Wow. But the feeling part. See, I thought there was feeling. I feel like I've heard from earthbound spirits that are upset about things. That's what I got from her dad.
Yeah, you're right. There is. If you haven't fully crossed over, you're still susceptible to the low vibrational emotions and feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Those are not that, because this is the only dimension where you can experience them.
Mm-hmm.
So these beings, although they have passed physically, haven't crossed from the third dimension yet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I took from Brian's explanation, was that you have that choice. I guess you have that choice.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to stay earthbound, you can, and that goes for people. And this was told to me by a tarot reader. That goes for people who are addicted to things. So people who are addicted to alcohol, drugs, sex, they all stick around because they want that rush again.
Mm-hmm.
They want to continue that. They weren't willing to give that up.
Right.
But people who cross and are letting go of that kind of thing, they're the ones then, I'm not sure how to explain it.
Right.
And this is, believe me, this is a brand new concept that I'm still trying to figure out. I don't have the answers here.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to work through it. But that, I can understand what Brian meant. Was, when you cross over, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I don't
at us. Trying to help us.
They're trying to help us. That's that's.
But also, I've heard they take classes, they learn, they're advancing their soul.
Yes, they continue to, and
no pain and no feelings and stuff.
Right. There's no pain. There's no low vibration emotions or anything like that. I remember reading a book. I think it was Maureen J. Saint Germain's book, Energy Codes. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was that book where she described, like, you can, when you cross back over, you can go do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You want to go live on an island and fish, and that's all you want to do? Go ahead. That's you get. But at some point, you're going to be like, I need to expand some more, and you're going to sign up for another incarnation. Damn it. What do I need to incarnate as this time? What do I still need to experience? What do I yet need to experience?
But do you think they're always choosing to stay earthbound? Because I've heard that a lot of people just somehow miss the turn and they end up here. They didn't mean to.
Right. So I've heard a couple things, and I don't know. Again, I don't know the answer to that question.
Because
but
nobody really knows.
Not really.
Yeah.
I have heard. All right. So here's an example. There was a soldier in Afghanistan. He was a sniper, and he shot and killed a lot of people. His wife, when he got home, his wife then started getting these visitors, and she would explain to him who they are. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, they sound like the people that I killed in Afghanistan, or Iraq, Afghanistan. So what they were doing was they knew that she could help them cross. Mm-hmm. And because their death was so sudden, they didn't see it coming. They had no idea that all of a sudden, you're like this, and then all of a sudden you're not like this, but you're still like this. Mm-hmm. So you're no longer physical energy. You're now spiritual energy, but you don't know that you're spiritual energy. You don't know what happened. You're lost.
Right.
You made a wrong turn, like you were saying. And so, yes, I think in that case too, there may be those earthbound spirits. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what the easy answer is to that whole scenario.
Well, there was a book written many, many years ago called 30 Years Among the Dead. Have you heard of that?
No.
It was written by a guy who was studying to be an MD, and he was practicing one day. He was, he had cut off a cadaver's leg, and they were, learning how to do surgery and things like that. Mm. And he came home, and when he came home, his wife said, "Oh, who did you bring with you for dinner?" And he said, "No one." "What do you mean?" And she said, "Well, there's this guy next to you, and he's upset with you. He's kind of yelling at you. Said you cut off his leg." And he's like, "What?" So he's like, "I did cut off a cadaver's leg today, and training." And she said, "Oh, wow." And so turns out she could see like the other wife, and so he quickly switched to psychiatry, and ended up
Good choice.
ended up working in this asylum where everybody had some kind of schizophrenia or mental illness or something, and he found that every single one of them was an attachment of an earthbound spirit.
Each one of his patients?
Yeah. So Susie's saying, oh, I hear voices all day long, and they're telling me this and that, and it turns out that there's a earthbound spirit attached to her.
Oh.
Yeah, and so he crossed him.
Crossed the spirit.
Yeah.
And the person was okay.
Mm-hmm. So he did this with like 300 people. And so he had quite a lot, but a lot of them say the same thing, kind of like what your dog said, almost exactly. They say, well, I got hit in the back and went down, but then I got up.
And I was fine.
Yeah,
I felt
fine.
great.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Exactly.
So then
they got up again, but
so thinking about my dog then, I mean, is he where he needs to be, or is he still waiting to be crossed?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question.
Well, I think it's different with animals.
Yeah. Well, animals can,
because they know why they're coming in.
They can
know
shift.
What they're doing.
They can swap souls.
Yeah.
I have heard that. I heard that animals can swap souls.
Yeah, they can pretty much be.
So they're a little bit different. That would make sense. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
This is a pretty deep conversation, pretty deep topic, and obviously Jacqui and I don't know. We've heard bits and pieces from various sources, but what do you think? Yeah. What do you think? Why are some spirits earthbound? And does it matter if you're a human or an animal? Is there a difference there?
Yeah.
What would cause an earthbound spirit, and how do you get them? How do you? What do you do with earthbound spirits?
Well, a lot of times I've heard, like especially battlefields. Of course, we've all heard of that one. We've all seen the people out on the battlefield still, and that, again, sudden death sometimes will trigger it, where they're still earthbound because they don't even know that they. And many of the people he crossed, they said, "No, I didn't die." They do not know they're dead.
Right.
They think they're still. There was one of a guy who ran a shop. He had a business, and he said every day he's going into that business, he's yelling at Tom that Tom's not doing it the right way, and he really thinks he's there, and he's still running the business.
Wow.
So she was able to gather all this from talking to them, but so who knows? Have you guys had any experience? We'd love to hear it if you've had experiences with things like this. A lot of people have claimed to see ghosts or hear things moving in their house or things like that, so that would be really cool too.
Yeah.
To see.
Yeah.
To hear about that.
Let us know.
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me of my ghost hunting trip in Savanah.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, do you want to talk about it? Or is it too scary?
No, it wasn't scary. It wasn't scary. It was the cool thing is that they taught you, they had all the professional equipment, all the stuff you see on the videos. They taught you how to use it and basically let you go ahead. You got 2 hours to do an investigation on the 2 floors of this building.
Wow.
And they had a really cool device. You're familiar with I think it's Xbox Connect. It uses it's this bar that you sit on the console, and it uses optics to detect energy. You, and then it kind of like pinpoints areas, like your fingertips, center of your hand, your wrist, your elbow, your shoulder, so that you can play a game but not have a controller.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, what somebody did was what they found was support kept getting inundated with calls and requests saying it's picking up more than one person, but there's nobody else here.
Mm.
And this other, whatever else is in this screen, they're not playing the game. They're just behind me doing their own thing.
Right.
Yeah. And so somebody got the good idea. Let's take this Connect. We'll hook it to an iPad and put a set of handles on it. So now you can walk around with this battery charged Connect, looking at this iPad and search around for. Sure enough,
really,
there was this one bathroom in this building that I went in We had a REM pod on the ground and a K2 monitor up on one of the stall doors, and I'm in there just trying to make contact, and Sonia comes in holding the Connect, and she's like, "They're right there." I'm like, "Really? Where?" And I looked at the screen, and they were both sitting on the shitters. There was 2 pots right there, and they were both sitting on them. I'm like, "You guys want some privacy, or I'm just, you want privacy? What?" And then one of them stood up on top of the shitter.
Oh wow!
Yeah, just stood up on top of it, and so I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna take this K2 and I'm gonna put it down on the floor in front of you." And I went and did that, and she like the entity reacted on the screen. She's like, "He didn't like that." I was like, "Okay," went, picked it back up, and he sat back down, and then I backed up and was like just straight across from the sink, and because they weren't interacting with us or anything. And then Sonia says, "He's right in front of you." I'm like, "Really? Where?" "Right on the sink." And I mean, literally, the sink's right here. I mean, the sink is 2.5 feet in front of me. And I said, "Here, just touch this K2."
Oh wow!
And I asked it to touch. "Here, just touch this device for me. That's all." And the screen, I kid you not, the screen showed this entity reach out and go like this on the K2.
Wow!
And then it put its hands around my arm. And you could see it on the screen. It was not setting off the detector. It would not set. The only other time that we had a REM pod go off one time, and that was only because there was a change in temperature. And that was it. But yeah, and then the entity climbed up the wall and left.
It's his home.
Yeah. But I have some apps on my phone that help you do like Spirit Talker and stuff like that. And over and over and over again, I got, "We enjoy the company." Like,
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Because they say every day is like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Nobody sees them, and they just go and,
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, how this guy would cross them a lot of times is he would just say, "No, Bob, you did die in Texas," or whatever. And he would say, "Oh, really?" And he's like, "Well, tell me, when did you eat last?" He's like, "It's been a really long time. When did you sleep last?" Because if you're human, you need to do those 2 things. So, and then that kind of convinced him that.
So he was able to interact with the entity?
Through the wife.
Through the wife.
Because she was obviously a medium type person. So she's he's telling her what to say.
So once he convinced the entity that it had crossed, that it had passed, how did the entity then move on?
So it's pretty wild. It's so simple, really. What he would do in some cases were harder. Sometimes it could be 100 entities on one person and stuff like that. But most cases, he would say, "Who died before you that you really loved or cared about?" Usually they'd say, "Oh, grandmother," or something like that. And he'd say, "Now look up and look out as far as you can see. Do you see her?" And they'd be like, "Oh yeah, there she is. There's Grandma." And he was like, "Go to her." So as soon as they go to them, they're crossed.
That's it.
Because she's on the other side.
Yeah.
So it was really actually kind of easy. It's like, again, the veils are right here.
Yeah.
Like there might be your dog could be right here, right?
Yeah.
And so it's very thin. It's just a matter of going to that frequency, So when he was like looking for Grandma, and then he's like, "Oh yeah." And then he just, crosses over. It's really not hard. At least that's what he said.
Okay.
Do any of y'all do that for a living? Do you do ghost hunting? Do you interact with people who are earthbound? Let us know.
Yep. We'd love to hear from you. Really would.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did finally decide on a name. You ready for this?
Yeah.
What is it, Jackie?
Ignite your light.
Ignite your light. And we're going to call you, our viewers, the Igniters.
Are we?
I don't know. I just made that up.
I was thinking the lights.
Hey, all you lights.
Bright lights.
Bright lights.
I used to say with a friend, we used to say, beautiful being of light.
The beautiful being of light.
Loud, but
it is.
We'll work on it. Yeah. Tell us what you want to be called.
How would you like us to refer to you? our friends, our viewers, whatever.
Viewers is so boring.
It's kind of trite, isn't it?
Yeah, it's overused.
Yeah, way overused. Igniters isn't used very much.
It's probably never used. Igniters. Yeah, I mean, could be.
Could be. That could be one. Well, anyway.
We appreciate you. Thanks for listening to our real raw conversations.
Yes, we enjoy it. Hope you do too, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.